Good morning. Good morning. I am so excited to be here. What a powerful discussion we have been having today. Just want to welcome everybody to the party. Listen, we're going to keep the energy going because what I want to talk to you about today, I just think is so super important. And let me tell you the topic for today, you guys. Are you ready? How being colored can jade your perspective. How being colored can actually jade your perspective. And I want to leave you with just some considerations, just some thoughts today. So if you are new to me, I am Lolita E Walker. I am a certified life leadership and executive coach. I come to you every single week and I bring to you strategies to help you shift your thinking a little bit. I bring to you coaching cocktails and conversations. Coaching cocktails and conversations. Coaching is where I leave you with a couple nuggets just to challenge your thinking. Okay. Cocktails is not so much about what you're sipping on. It's about really celebrating the greatness of who it is that you are. And then conversations is the juiciness we have right now. Now, this is a live conversation. So it's a choice for you to get involved and add into the conversation. But if not, don't you worry. I'm saying hi to not only all of my friends on Clubhouse and Breakfast with Champions and Breakfast with Champions Daily, but also my Facebook group, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations, my LinkedIn family, hello, YouTube, hello, and also Coaching Cocktails and Conversations podcast, giving all of my shout outs up front. This topic, you guys, I want you to think about it one more time while I say hey to Jackie Underwood. She said, let's go ahead and dive all the way in. And then Sandra Brown, hey, how are you? She said, oh, Jade, good morning. The question for today is, how can you be colored? And how can that then jade you? So as I was thinking about this a little bit, you guys, let me just put it up for all of you all who are watching live. It is how being colored can jade your perspective. And I was laying in the bed this morning. I'm like, what shall I talk about? And I get all of these because I'm a speaker, because I'm this certified life leadership and executive coach. I get all of these questions and I start to think about the questions that people have asked me, not only over a lifetime, but really in a short period of time, usually about 2 weeks. And I form that into a topic where I come to each and every one of you all. And it's so good. Somebody called me the other day and said, Lolita, I was listening to your podcast. And how do you know what I need to hear right then? And I love that. Sometimes it's what I need to hear in the moment. And sometimes because we don't articulate our things out loud, we don't write it down and then speak it out loud, then we can't hear ourselves and recognize what it is that we're going through. So today, how being colored can jade your perspective. Now, I was thinking about this and I'm like, remember when you were young? Or look at your children if you can't think back that far, right? Think about your children and when they start coloring, right? They start coloring and everything just looks a mess. Sometimes our life feels like a mess of chaos. It's just so many things happening at once. Now, if I'm not talking to you, I'm definitely talking to me. Is that sometimes we get in this moment where it's work, it's life, it's home, it's all of these things that's happening at once. And things can just feel like all of those colors that are on the page. What if being colored can jade your perspective of the amazingness that this world has to offer? Because when someone else looks at it, they go ahead and they see something and it penetrates into your whole body, right? Imagine pulling out the colors that you love and that you like, and they're going to be perfect on this sheet of paper, and you're coloring, you're finally deciding to color within the lines. But who told you that beauty was coloring within the lines? Today, it's about how being colored can jade your perspective. Just like that sheet of paper that has colors all over it. I don't choose the color that I'm born into, but I love the color that I am. It penetrates all of me. When I show up into a room, sometimes people only see the color of my skin. But today I want to ask you, what if you are being jaded by judgment, by anger, by disappointment, and by ego? Somebody sat back right there because they're like, not me, not me. So I want to challenge you to listen a little bit differently today, because we're going to talk about each of those four, and we're going to talk about how you can choose whether or not you will be colored, you will be penetrated. People will see you for these four things before you even show up. What if being colored can jade your perspective? Oh my gosh, I get so excited when I talk about the topics inside of this room. And so Lynn Luckett said, great day, my friend. Great day, great day. So let's talk about this topic. When you color yourself, when I think about this, I was talking to somebody this morning. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm going to talk about this morning, how being colored can jade your perspective and how we can kind of shift out of each one of those. And they're like, are you talking about my skin tone? How that can jade my perspective on things? I'm not telling you what being colored is, but let me talk about being colored, being a brown skinned young woman who is an African American woman, how being colored, my skin color can jade my perspective on other things, perhaps. Perhaps because of societal norms, I walk into a room and I might feel judgment. I might feel anger. I might feel disappointment. I might feel egotistical. I might feel all of these things. And what does that do? It penetrates my mind, my body, my spirit. But what can I control? And I want to challenge you in your work, your life, in your home. What is it that you can control? I can control the pieces that I pull out, those those colors I can pull out. I can choose which one I pull out. I can choose if today I'm pulling out judgment. I can be aware of the anger that penetrates my body. I can be aware of the disappointment that I feel and choose to walk differently. I can be aware of ego. I can be aware of my skin color because to me it's brilliance. What is it that you are holding on to that can absolutely jade your perspective as you walk into life? What is it that you are walking into? So let's talk about judgment. Let's talk about judgment. And I do have it because I am super prepared, you guys. Before we get started, I always talk to you guys about how I talk to my best friend Webster all the time, especially if I'm giving a talk or if I'm chatting with you guys. And so, according to my best friend Webster's dictionary, jade is to become weary or dulled, right? How we're talking about how stuff can jade your perspective, how being colored with something can jade your perspective, can cause you to become weary or dulled, can cause you to sit in complacency, can cause you to wear out from overwork or abuse. Oh my gosh. How being jaded can really cause you to tire or dull through this repetition, you're on repeat, you're on this hamster wheel, repeat, repeat, repeat. I know that there's somebody here who is sitting in their jadeness. I'll make that up to become obsolete. Sometimes when you sit in that and you become jaded, you become colored with all of these things, then you become obsolete. You've forgotten who it is that you absolutely are because we want to walk, talk, and behave differently. Why is this important to the folks that I'm talking to right now? It's because when you become aware of your perspective, you can then shift it. You can choose to. When I have my women's weekend renewal retreat, when I work with corporate retreats, when I work inside of organizations, when I work one-on-one or in my group coaching, we talk about what is it that you see? How are you being shaped? And then what can you change? And I want to challenge you today, whether it's your work, your life, or your home, to really be able to be aware as your first step. In Coaching Cocktails and Conversations and bwcdaily.com, whenever I come on, it's all about leaving you with these tangible tips and strategies to really think first and be aware. Today, we're becoming aware of our perspective. I love it. So the first thing I asked you was, are you being colored by judgment? Are you being colored by judgment? You can say yes, you can say no, but what I want you to really think about is this notion that judgment tends to form your opinions or evaluations of people and things, right? It creates these new facts. It creates this new narrative. And what we've talked about before right here is you are the narrator of this here story. You could decide today, if you have your Coaching Cocktails and Conversations notebook, then you can already open that up to a clean page and begin that narrative today. It was right here inside of this platform right here that we talked about these windows, right? Before we talked about these windows. And when you choose the window that you are going to look out of, or that you are going to allow people to look into, what will that perspective share? You today can choose, right? You can choose. So I want you to think about judgment. Are you being colored by judgment? Are you being colored by bias? Are you being colored? Each of us have judgment, you guys, but this could really lead to this unfair or biased assessment that is based on your preconceived notions, not the reality of what is. Today, if you're just joining, we are talking about how being colored can jade your perspective. We talked about you pulling out all of these colors out of your coloring box and then you starting to color. Who said that we have to stay within the lines? Does society say that we have to stay within the lines? When you're thinking about your new business ideas, when you're thinking about your career, when you're thinking about moving up in the echelon because you're working at a company for someone else, when you're thinking about your next step, when you're thinking about having a child, when you're thinking about getting married, when you're thinking about these life decisions, what is coloring you to help make that decision? Don't allow yourself to be jaded. And the way that we're talking jaded today are these four aspects of judgment, about anger, about disappointment, and about ego. If you have anything that you want to add to this live conversation, you can feel free to go ahead and write it into Facebook, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or right here on Clubhouse, because this is a conversation that really is going to penetrate all of the space of where we are right now. I love that Linnell Burns said, "Who told you that coloring between the lines is the only way that the picture is beautiful? Who told you that? Who told you that coloring inside the lines? Who told you that the box that surrounds the picture is where you have to stay?" I want us to think out of the box, but the first is awareness that you choose the rules of how you engage, right? You walk into a situation, and of course, there's rules. I think about my son who always tells me, "Oh my gosh, mommy, you have so many rules. What's the issue?" Now, you need to follow those rules, but how you work within those rules is a choice. It's a choice. Absolutely. I ask you to clean your room. That's an expectation that I have of you. But how you choose to do your room is, you might start with the bed, right? You might start with picking up all the stuff that's on the floor. You might start how you start. You might start with turning on the radio. But I want you to know that within that place and space that you work, you have choice. And although he doesn't have choice to leave this house today, each of us that's listening in, we do have choice on where it is that we choose to stay and give our energy, right? I know I do. You do have freedom to do that. So today we are talking about how being colored by something. Listen, the color of my skin penetrates all of me. When I show up, some people see that first, but what I do and I recognize is that I am aware that some people have a negative connotation on that. That's not a me problem, that's a them problem. So what I choose to do is make sure that when Lolita E Walker walks in the room, I bring my power, I bring my passion, I bring my purpose. I want you to be able to do the same thing because I am aware of who my audience is. Sometimes you might not be aware of who your audience is, but you are aware of who you are. And I want us to increase our clarity, our confidence, and our commitment so that we walk, talk, and behave every day differently and intently. Good morning, Dr. Cook, who says, "Blessings, everyone." I absolutely love that. What are you being colored by today? What are you choosing to be colored by today? What are you choosing to be colored by today? This is LaRon Bailey, who said, "Hi, LaRon," who said, "As I get ready to head into the office while I take my time to get dressed, this is such a masterpiece of a space to listen to while doing so. I'm so excited that you are here," right? Absolutely, and hands down, we are the narrator of our stories. When I leap into, and I always talk about my women's retreat, because if I could do that every single month, I really would. What is stopping you, Lolita? So many things. Y'all know I'm getting my PhD, yay! From some of the accountability that I have right here inside of this platform, and from all of you all that are helping to keep me pushing. I'm on a board of education. You all are helping to keep me pushing. I'm a mommy. All of the things. So when I do this Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat, it's my 11th one, you guys. I'm so super pumped about that. In September is when that happens. Then I give all of me. And why? Because I want us to be colored in a different type of armor. I want us to be armored without judgment, without anger, without disappointment, without ego. How do we get those things done? Today, we're talking about that. Lynn Luckett said, "As an African American educator, I have to work intentionally to not become just physically, mentally, and emotionally tired, which is how we define jaded, of politicians and others attempting to erase color from the learning environment, hands down. I remind myself daily to color me, to color us beautifully, and to walk into display this color in all colors amazingly." Oh my gosh, isn't that so good? What are you coloring yourself with? And here's the thing. This can mean so many different things. What are you coloring yourself with? What are you showing? What are you, it touches me. My color touches me from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet and all of the things in between. It shapes who it is that I am. Do not allow yourself to be shaped and jaded by judgment, by anger, by disappointment, and by ego. Are you being colored by these four aspects? And if the answer is yes, I want us to touch base on those things right there, because there's strategies, there's ways, there's things that we could do. I like to call it soul work, to really tap into what that is. When we talked about judgment a little bit, we talked about how anger, we're about to talk about it, we haven't talked about it yet, but anger, right? Anger can cloud your judgments. All of this can cloud your judgments. And then what did we just talk about for, according to my best friend, Webster, we talked about this jading, right? All of these things, it forces you to become jaded, right? Jaded, which is becoming weary or dulled. So, I mean, have you really sat back and been like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. I'm overworked. I feel abused. I'm tired. I'm going through this repetitive motion over and over again. I am becoming obsolete. I've forgotten me. I've forgotten who it is that I am. I've forgotten where it is that I want to go. I haven't been clear. I've been getting clouded by all of these things, but I have a business to run. I'm being clouded by all of these things, but I'm a dynamic speaker. I'm being clouded by all of these things, so I am not moving inside of my greatness. I want to push on you today to move inside of your greatness. Move inside of your greatness. You guys, let me tell you seriously. I remember working in corporate America, and sometimes I actually miss it. And then I think about the freedom that I have on the other side. And I do miss aspects of it. I miss the resource and support. I miss so many amazing things. But one of the things I was thinking about the other day is how there was this forced judgment that I had. I felt angry. I felt disappointed. I was holding on to things. And then sometimes my ego would get in the way. And I remember aspects of that. And then I remember that sitting in that place, I don't know if I would have written 2 books. I don't know if I would have done a TEDx talk. I don't know if I would have started my PhD at this time. I don't know those things. And because we can't sit in the past of what shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't happen, right? That window, we choose not to do that. The windows that I talked to you guys about was past, present, and future. If you didn't hear that one, then you got to go back and listen to the replay on all of the different formats that I told you about, or Coaching Cocktails and Conversations, the podcast, or Breakfast with Champions, the podcast. Either one, you can make sure that you go back and listen to that one. But we talked about this past, this present, this future. And so because we can't live in the past, we can choose whether or not we want to live in our right now, or we can choose if we want to leap to where we know there's greatness. We might not know what is ahead of us because we don't have that crystal ball, but we can talk to our future self. That is part of recognizing and being aware of who it is that you are. Where is it that you are? What is it that you are doing when you talk to your future self? Oh my gosh, so good. Lynn Luckett said, I rinse the color of hatred, the color of depression, the color of sadness, the color of victimization, etc. daily. Oh, I love that you said that. Oh, that's so good. So I love that because we can take time to rinse ourselves of color that we have been taking on. Color that we have been taking on. And I love that Lynn Luckett right there said, listen, I am aware. You said be aware. I am aware that there is this color of hatred and depression and sadness and victimization that wants to come over me, but I am intentional when I choose to walk through my doors to rinse all of that off of me. And then I love what Dr. Cook James said right after, because she said, well, I'm colored by caring, compassion, and competence. The question is, what are you colored by? And if you're going to choose to be jaded, or if you're not, it's a choice. I love that. Ahad said, all clouds about jading become weary, dulled things get repetitive to you. Who am I? Where I want to go? I have a business to run, push to move. The inside you wants greatness. Hands down. I love that. Yes, I love that. when is the next Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat? I want to make sure my wife is aware. Please speak of that, Lolita. I'm sure she would love that. LaRon, I love that you said that, because I talk to men all the time about, yes, it is a Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat, which is the third Saturday in September. You could go to it at lolitawalker.com and then just click on retreats to find out more about it. I'll put it up right here in case you are taking a look at this, but it's for everybody listening, and it's bit.ly/September 2023 retreat. I would love to have you there. There's only 17 spots. And so you want to make sure you do that. They sell out every year. And so we want to make sure that you get in there. And I tell you something, is that the beauty of that is that this discussion is more than a discussion. This right here, not only do we penetrate you, we become aware of who it is that you are, but then we help you to then color yourself differently with accountability, with action. Listen, this 4-day retreat, you guys, is #amazing. Why? Because you show up and you don't have to do anything else. There is a chef that is there the entire time. There's amazing. I do one-on-one coaching, do group coaching, all of the things, right? Mind, body, spirit, masseuse on deck. We have all of the things. So I would love, if you want to find out more about that, then shoot an email to robin@lolitawalker.com. It's amazing. But let's talk about, what are you choosing to be colored by? You could choose to be colored by or with people around you in your community who are different than you, who you are seeing that want to show up differently. I want to push you to be your best. When you know that you have a skill set that does that, then you penetrate that with the world, because I color people every day. You know, I come in here and I say, listen, every time I speak, I leave a little bit of Lolita E Walker with you. Absolutely. You could choose to leave awesomeness with people, or you could choose to leave the worst of you with people. When people say your name, what do they think? What will they say about you? And now I can choose the energy that I receive, because if somebody wants to color me, then I say, hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some Lolita up in it. Okay, let me think, because what God has given us is freaking amazing. To use the tools that we have, the strengths, the understanding, the beliefs that we have, is to understand what they are. Today, I am challenging you. Okay, today, I am challenging you to be all that you can be. I love this. Lynn Luckett said, I choose to live in the color of clarity, love, and possibility daily. Yes, it's a choice. It's a choice. Let me pause for the cause and see if anybody has anything that they want to add in before I keep going.
Lolita Walker. This is Linnell Burns. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, Lord, I'm catching in my throat here. This is so amazing. You know, the fact of you asking that question, what are we coloring ourselves with? Right. And it's so, as a Black woman, I understand. Mm-hmm. But as just a community of people who have different races, different creeds, different religions, different sexualities, what is it that we're colored by because of bias, because of what our parents taught us? Mm-hmm. And just the way that you're asking this question, it's making me sit and think, okay, what am I coloring my own world with? Am I coloring it with the bias where I'm okay with one thing, but I'm not okay with the other thing? Am I putting my religion ahead of my humanity? Am I putting my religion ahead of my love for people? Am I putting my entitlement because of the things that I've gone through in life before building relationships that are meaningful and deep with other people? Oh my gosh, girl. Let me tell you. You said September what?
I love it. It's the third weekend. Let me get my dates, you guys, together over here. I'm going to put it here. It is.
Flash that all over Instagram, Facebook.
Yes. It's so good. Yes. It's so good. It's the 14th through the 17th. The 14th, ma'am. Is that the third weekend? Yes, it is. 14th through the 17th.
All right, ma'am. Let me go ahead and take a look at that link, because, girl, you're talking to me this morning. I'm telling you.
Yes. Listen.
In the chat.
Yes. Listen, talking about your inner child, let me just say this really quickly. I recognize we only have 5 more minutes, you guys. So I'm going to tell this story fast. I don't know if Robin is inside of the room, but I talk about Robin all the time. Thank you, Mary Lynn, for posting the link to the retreat. Listen, Robin was at my retreat last year in September. And Robin found her inner child. It was amazing, you guys, to be able to see it in person. And for all of you all who were there, I think there's some people in the room who were there as well, to see her really be like, aha. I don't know if you all have ever experienced someone transforming in front of you. And I have had the amazing opportunity, because of what I do, to be able to see that. And you guys, it is amazing. She talked about how we did an exercise, and she talked about how it was a little girl, and she remembers this dress that she was in and sitting on a swing, and we happened to have a swing there, and she was able to swing on that. And she talked about walking through these fields, and oh my gosh, you guys, she went back in time, and what that did was allow her to become aware of how she wanted to shift. And she's not here to hear me talking about her today, but I will send her the link, because is anybody here who was at the retreat last year? Okay. um anyway, that there is amazing. And Robin, to hear her and see her is amazing. Okay, there's some people who are on who are writing. Lynn Luckett on Facebook said it was so beautiful to experience Robin's transformation. And Larissa came last year, and she did this amazing meditation for us. It's 19,000 square feet, the home, but outside is acres and acres of amazingness. And we got an opportunity to go out and do this amazing exercise that Larissa took us through. And I tell you, transformational. You lock that with an amazing community, and you're locked in for 4 days. You come out differently, amazingly. There are people who have started businesses. I kid you not. There are people who have become authors. I'm telling you, life shifting. There are people. There's one woman who started sewing, you guys, and now that she makes all of her clothes. Now she has a business line. It has purses and shoes. I can't even make it up myself. Transformation, when you allow yourself not to be jaded by other people coloring you coloring yourself with judgment, by anger, by disappointment, and by ego. I'm so excited to have talked to each and every one of you all today. We have 3 more minutes. If you all want to pop in, feel free.
Hey, Lolita, this is Stacy. This is such a great segment. I was there. I had the opportunity to be at your retreat, to witness, to experience Robin's transformation. And guys, it was simply amazing to see her relive, to go backwards and then to move forward. With how she saw herself, and just rediscovering the love for herself, and through those painful memories, and to have Lolita help her process all of that. Don't miss the next retreat. It is going to be amazing. And Lolita, I am so glad that you are walking in purpose, regardless of how people try to color you. I'm so thankful that you understand that you get to choose your own crayons. I'm Stacy, and I'm done speaking.
Yes, Stacy, I love it. I love it. You guys, it's the 14th through the 17th of 2023. It will sell out, so make sure you at least put a deposit down. September 14th through 17th. Power Women, 4 days, power experts powering you. All inclusive. You show up, we do the work. And so good. Is there anybody else who wants to pop in? And I'll read these. Dora Maria has hearts all of the places. She said that I am trying to clear my calendar to go. Absolutely. And let me also tell you all this. All of you all who work in corporate America, there are some benefits professionally to this retreat. So if you need help in writing a letter to send to your HR or your manager to try to get this paid for, then I can help you with that as well. Now, I can't guarantee they say yes, but what I can say is that there have been power women who have gone to the retreat, because there is a professional aspect of this that will help you shift differently. It is intentional. There is accountability. You walk away with tangibles in order to walk you through your own blueprint of life. So it's so super good. Thank you so much for being here. And I cannot wait to chat with you again next week. Bye, you guys. Till then, LolitaWalker.com, or follow me on all of the places at Hey Coach Walker. See you soon.